Hello, everybody. Hello, masters of your own destiny. What's going on? Welcome back to my basement. I'm Francisco Suarez, your host, and this is from Suarez Basement. You know, I always wonder where you are listening from, right? Are you in the car, maybe driving and stuck in traffic and listening? Are you maybe in the gym using the treadmill, or are you maybe at home cooking some dinner? Hey, doesn't matter where you are. The important part is that you're giving us your time and your company, and that means the world to us. It's through that energy that we receive from you, our audience, that we keep working hard and putting the love to create this crazy adventure called From Suarez Basement. So thank you so much for tuning in. I want to remind, if you're new, welcome, that you can go to our website, www.fsbasement.com, where you can find the entire library of the conversation that we have with the experts in the communication, media, and the arts. Again, www.fsbasement.com. And talking about experts, my goodness, do we have an expert today? Of course we do. She's a Grammy Award winner, Billboard Award winner. She is, in fact, the pioneer of Latin music crossover in the US. She's the recipient of the Kennedy Center Award. And most recently, she has been awarded as the only Latina woman to be accepted in the Songwriter Hall of Fame. I'm talking about the one and only Miss Gloria Estefan is with us. And ask me if I'm excited. I am very, very excited. I cannot wait to have this conversation with Gloria Estefan. It's a dream come true. And before we go there, I want to take the time, of course, to thank PBS in Central New York, WCNY for the partnership. It's thanks to that partnership that we can come to you every 2 weeks. So WCNY, thank you so much. And thanks to you, of course, the audience, for tuning in. Let's start this conversation with Miss Gloria Estefan right away. Thank you for tuning in. This is a new episode of From Suarez Basement. Here we go. Well, listen, I'm incredibly excited. I'm a big fan, of course. All Latinos who grew up in the 80s and the 90s, and is for me, this is like unbelievable.
You were a child in the 80s.
I was kind of a child, yes. I'm still young by heart. Like that's just
yes. Nobody liked it. The kids loved the music. It was awesome.
You know, but in these days with all the artificial intelligence, I'm like, is this, I'm so in awe that I'm talking to you. Is this real Gloria Estefan that is talking to me?
No, this is my AI profile.
Well, let's
put the whole subject.
Wow. I'm going to put you in a test. I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions to see if you really are Gloria Estefan or somebody else.
Okay, let's hope I know the answer.
What was Gloria Estefan born?
Havana, Cuba, Marianao, en La Covadonga.
Oh, that was too easy. Okay, full name.
Gloria María Milagrosa Fajardo García Montaño y Pérez.
Wow. Were you one of the? Were you one of those kids that when your mom was mad with you, used the entire full names?
Oh, absolutely. What Cuban mom isn't going to Gloria María Fajardo? Although I was rarely in trouble, but she had different names for the different things she wanted me to do, like. If we were watching TV on the couch and I heard Gloria Mari, I knew that meant she wanted a café con leche, and I was the one to make it.
That is so
If she called me Yoyi, she was probably going to ask me to sing for her friends.
That is fantastic. So, when my mom used my last name, I normally have to run out of the house. If she say Francisco Jose Suarez, mean run because you are in trouble.
Oh my God. Well, let's hope that doesn't happen much anymore.
And okay, so just final question to verify if you are who you say you are. How you and your husband met?
We met at a mutual friend's house where we were putting a band together for one night, and the friend's dad worked at Bacardi with Emilio, so he asked him to come give us pointers. And I was sitting on the floor, and there was a knock at the door, and it opened, and I saw a pair of bare legs and an accordion because I was on the floor and he was in shorts. His mother had made for him. So that's our official meeting place.
And who is your new favorite podcaster host that you met?
my favorite podcast. Well, you, of course, in your basement, which is very nice for a basement, I must say.
Thank you so much. You know, one of the things about you that is fascinating is you're so versatile. Like, you are an actress, you're a singer, you're a songwriter. And I want to talk a little bit about songwriting, because I don't think a lot of people know you as a songwriter. In fact, you're going to be in this month, you're going to be actually appointed in the yes, congratulations, the Script Writing Hall of Fame, which is
Songwriter Hall of Fame.
Fantastic. Congratulations in that.
That's a big one for me.
Yeah, because again, you know, I think it's so difficult to write good songs, and I want to pick your mind of what is that process, how you start writing a song when you decide you're going to sit and write a song.
You know, I wish there was a formula. They're like your children. Each one is different and unique in a way, and each song is born from a different circumstance. But there's the craft of writing, where you look at something and you know that it can be better, and you dedicate yourself to making it better. There's inspiration. My first number one, Anything for You, it just came through me. I have the page that I wrote it, and it's like verbatim. There's hardly any changes in it at all. I'm working on an exciting project with Emily now, and songwriting is my favorite thing to do because it's really the closest thing to my nature. I loved it. I did poetry as a kid, and I did a lot of parodies, which are fun to do. And it's a writing thing, a tool. So when Emilio asked me if I wrote, I go, I think I could do it. And the first song I wrote was actually, I wrote it like a ballad, but we put it as an up-tempo on the B side of the single. And I've pretty much written everything. I've recorded everything I've written since then. But I'm not like Diane Warren, for example, gets up every day, goes to her writing room, and will not leave without writing a song. She's not married. She doesn't have kids. That's a big part of it too. We do a multitude of things, but I prefer to focus and be in a private, quiet space that you won't get bothered. I just wrote 2 songs recently in Vero Beach. Emilio didn't come, so I was there with my dogs and Miriam, and I took the time to just sit and. You need inspiration. That's key. You need to have an idea, a spark. You know, be it a hook sometimes, and then the song is born from that, depending on your feelings. If you're writing specifically for something, obviously that's a different story. You have to focus on what you're writing for, if it's a character or somebody that's going to sing it specific. The thing I tell everybody, it's got to be honest. You know, obviously it's impossible to have had every experience in the world, regardless of how we all try to, you know, but I'm an observer. Like, I absorb everything that happens around me, what people tell me. People call me, I'm their psychiatrist. So, you know, I hear a lot about emotions. We talk a lot about them, and you get an idea about something and you let it have. I also give the song freedom. It may have started in my head as one idea and developed along a different route, and you have to give yourself that freedom to follow that process. Everybody has their own thing, I'm sure, you know, their own.
But I think you it's 2 things that catch my attention listening to you. One is you need to be honest. I think that's such a important part of everything in these days, right? When we are so consumed by so much noise out there, honesty is always a key to a good thing. You cannot pretend to be somebody that you are not. Tell me a little more about that.
Well, people can cop that in 2 seconds. They don't know. You ask somebody why they like a song, they may not understand the reasons, but the main thing is that it moved them, it touched them emotionally somehow. And for that to happen, it has to have come from a real place. So from something, it may not be exactly what's happening in the song at the moment, but the emotion has to have been felt and had. And, you know, you can't write what you don't know about. So you can try, you know, a formulaic type thing. If you're trying to write for what's happening at the moment, you're 2 years behind. And now there's less of that problem because Everything is pretty instantaneous. It doesn't take as long as it used to take.
But I'm very curious to pick your brain, especially with young generations that want to, of course, in music and songwriting. The business have changed a lot, thanks to, of course, digital era and streaming. I mean,
Yeah.
like I say, I grew up with cassettes, tapes, and records. And
I remember those.
yeah,
I have one. I remember the 8-track in my car.
Yeah, that's crazy. But it moves so fast. It's just incredibly, because we're not talking about, we're talking about what, 35 years?
Yeah. The technology has sped by.
Yeah. So how do you think the industry, and you're still in the industry, which is the beauty of it. How do you think have that changed, and how a stream of music and digital era have changed your business as a musician, as a songwriter?
Well, I think every musician and songwriter will know that it hit everybody's checkbook, number one, big time, because there were laws that you would get 7.7 cents per mechanical, of your song. And if you had a few songs on an album, that was for each song. So there was a way. Streaming, the good thing is the Music Modernization Act, and they're working on the Fairness Act as well, so that singers would be paid, not just songwriters, when they play FM radio. It's different. You got to go with the flow. You can't go backwards with technology. I remember when Napster came out, I called Tommy Mottola and I told him, you need to be Napster. Sony needs to, put songs where kids can download them and sell them now before they get used to getting it for free, because that's what this is doing. And they thought that they were big and they couldn't be taken down. And look, it happens because the consumer will tell you what they want. And, it's very convenient streaming, so we will adapt. And then as new legislation makes it better for the writer. But what I tell people is this, if you're a writer, you're going to want to write. It's great when you're a success, and you might need a day job now, like way back when in the industry. But, you can tour, but to tour, you need music for people to know it. So it's like a catch-22. You have the freedom of not needing a record company because you can put your own stuff out, but everything is so fragmented that you still have to get the voice out. And, how do you get heard and known? It's a challenge.
Gloria Estefan, thinking about touring in some point, is something there that catch your attention to come back to? I know it's a lot of work. So I don't know if
it's a lot of work. Look, I do it differently. We were getting ready to go out in 2020 because we were going to do these 3 things for my foundation and stuff. And we said, we got to put together a show. Let's do a tour. Then that happened. We don't even have, it's 2020. Imagine it was like in February of that year we were doing this. And then everybody went out on the road after. So to get venues, and if I go out, I'd love to take Emily, drag her with me. Like that would be a great double bill.
That would be awesome. Well, and talking about Emily, I know you guys are actually co-hosting together and with Lily Stefan too.
We did for Facebook Watch.
And how was that?
Oddly enough, the hair girl won the Emmy. So yay for Georgie.
Yeah, how was that?
Our hair won an Emmy. All right. It was really good. We did it because we felt that being a family that is known by people, it was a good opportunity to make a difference by, speaking about things that Latina families, most families don't really sit down and discuss and need to be talked about. And we thought we could be of service in that way. And it turned out great. Right when we finished our 2nd season, they changed to Meta, and the whole team that was with us, there were big changes. So we didn't continue, but we had 2 seasons, 20 shows. People still watch them, and we're happy they're there.
How important, and for everybody to hear out there, is perseverance in order to make it, in your own experience?
Yes. In my own experience, I can tell you that I have done the exact opposite of that my entire career, because we've been presented with a million offers. And I look at that thing and I go, okay, it may give you this in the short run, but what happens down the line, long term? We have children and a grandchild, and we have a people that are constantly saying how they feel we represent them and all this. So there is a bit of a bit of pressure to, be the best you can be. We worked on Mi Tierra for 5 years, and everybody thought we were crazy. That at the peak of my popularity as an American, English speaking singer, I would do a completely Spanish language album. And both Emilio and I felt that, contrary to this, that people, our fans, the people that listen to us, were going to be curious about where that, came from, that we were able to do it. And they were going to really like that record. And, Tommy Mottola trusted us there, and but that was 5 years in the making. We were on tour, Get on Your Feet. We were on the tour bus, getting Juanito Marquez, and we compiled the best of the best Cuban musicians. So that also took some organizing. So you can't make that kind of record overnight. Yeah. Could I sit here and do a loop and write a song and produce it? Emily produced her album in 2 months by herself in her apartment in college. So can you do it? Yes. But things that are going to stand the test of time and be unique enough to stand out through all the ins and outs of the industry, because things, change. So,
and how about Rejection? How because the thing, I would like to go back in time, and if you can remember how difficult in some point, I guess it was to really put you out there and be sure that Rejection, I think, is something that we all experience. I would like to compare and contrast Rejection of the young Gloria Estefan and Rejection now. How do you deal with those two?
If you're going to deal with rejection, it happens more during, your early years when you're trying to break through and do something new. And whenever you have something new, advertisers tend to go to the status quo, who they think their audience is, and want to pander to them, so that radio would, choose a lot of what got played. We got told that our music was too American for the Latins and too Latin for the Americans. And I remember, because the guy in the play, kind of composite character, but this guy, we had just been signed. It was to of course, Sony Discos, but we had Dr. Beat, and we believed in it 1,000,000%. And we're sitting talking to him, and he says, "You're not going to be able to compete, on the world market." And I'm like, telling him, "Then why did you sign us?" Emilio's kicking me under the table. But to me, Rejection never took away my complete, belief that the music was going to work, and these people just happened to be in our way, and we need to find a way around them, because they were in a position that, you needed to take into account. But Emilio and I have been our best cheerleaders. And when we knew something, we had a focus group every gig. It was people from all kinds of different cultures. And we literally played conga before we recorded it. We played it live, testing it at the gig. And people would flock to the dance floor like it was a hit already. If you believe in something you're doing, you got to stick with it.
Do you think your experience, I understand that you graduated in psychology. And
Yes.
and you say just a couple of minutes ago, you say that you're a people reader. You and it's funny because I love humans. I just find humans the most fascinating things in the world.
Too.
The good ones and the bad ones, right?
They tell you so much, right? With their body, when you really listen and watch.
Yeah, it's just fascinating to me. Do you think that contribute to your success, the fact that you know how to deal with people in a different way that maybe other people wouldn't?
That might help, but it's not because I studied psychology, although that helps. What really helped me a lot was I had to spend 2 months where I couldn't talk. It ended up being a burst blood vessel, but it looked like a cyst, and they couldn't see. So the doctor, I had to stop a tour. It was the one before the one that stopped for my back. But I had to spend 2 months where I could not speak. So you would not believe what a difference it is when you're actually listening to someone, because you know that you can't speak. So there's nothing you can contribute to the conversation. And I learned so much observing people and watching them speak to me. and not having my brain trying to formulate a response or an answer, which automatically takes you out of listening. So I would say I learned a lot to listen to people's cues a lot more and clues. And but yeah, I find it fascinating. It's, there's always a better way to deal with people. That there's
Yes.
always, something that's going to move
And
you
I think
forward.
one of the problems that we're living lately is that we are losing the capacity to communicate, but we are losing our capacity, the willingness to listen. And that is sad and is dangerous, because when you have a society that is no longer in the willingness to sit down and really hear what you have to say, you cannot move anything. It's just a game that doesn't,
We're in a tough moment. Truth has gone out the window. There's no such thing. It doesn't matter what creates the truth is no longer respected, or it's an odd moment. And I'm sure we'll come out of it eventually. But right now, it's like when someone has a position, you cannot move them through logic or through, facts, or there's no facts. It's like, well, you say that, but I say this.
Right. It's a difficult situation. Changing subject to something more lively, but the queer community, especially the Latino queer community, love you to pieces.
That's good.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is about Gloria Estefan? Is certain artists that the queer community, it seems that they have an affinity and that you care for the community. Are you aware of that relationship that you have, and why do you think that happened?
Absolutely. Look, from day one, the queer community now is queer. It changes. You got to figure out what is the new.
Yeah.
They broke our music before anybody would play it. Like Pablo Flores, he used to play a bachelor seat before there were 12-inch records. He would take our actual records and do these amazing mixes. And when we went to Puerto Rico, they told us, you got to go to this club. You got to hear this guy. And we heard his mix and we said to him, look, we can get a board here in Puerto Rico. We don't have money, but we'll pay you on the back end. And he created the Dr. Beat 12-inch and Conga and all those, and helped shape the single, really. So it was born in the gay clubs. And, to me, it's always been, they used to ask me, and I would say, marriage should be allowed for everyone. It's a contract.
Mm-hmm.
I've always supported them, and now I didn't know I was going to be, although you have two kids. It's going to be one or the other, sometimes both. No, it was, I'm happy to support Emily. She's a strong, super intelligent, incredible musician, and amazing human being. And so is my son, by the way. Yeah. They're great people. They're humble. They're good people.
Yeah, that's all what it matters. Is and for all the Latino queer folks out there that are listening to us, I mean, it's no other than Gloria Estefan, who's telling you that you will be fine, things will be fine, and you just need to find your path, because
absolutely. But oh my God, again, it's a rough moment. It's
yes.
You look at what happened with the Supreme Court, it's a tough moment. But that's why we did the show on Facebook Watch. One of them was about Emily coming out, and although she hates saying coming out, says you shouldn't have to come out. You don't come out as straight, which is true.
It is true.
You don't sit somebody down and say, Mom, Dad, I'm in love with this boy.
But,
it's true.
I'm so excited.
It was nice.
Gloria, I don't have really, it's just amazing to me that somebody, again, in your level, I'm in the basement of my house. I'm
in the library of my house.
There we go. And I'm a big believer.
Two opposite extremes of the house.
But I'm a big believer that things can happen if you just put the effort and the time. I mean, I've been able to have conversation with people that I admire so much, from literally thanks to the technology. And it's a way to prove my students that, again, if you put the perseverance, the constant, you put the work, you will get
exactly
what you
and if
want.
you don't try, how do you know
Exactly.
Yes, I'll tell you why I said yes, because I really want to, with this part of my life, talk more to kids and share more of whatever in some way I can help them, or, give them things that I've gone through. And when I saw what you do, and, it goes on PBS and all the colleges, it's a great opportunity for me to also reach them. So,
I appreciate that so much.
and by the way, you're named exactly like our mayor in Miami.
I know that. It's nothing to do with me, but
I know.
Nothing to do with me. Listen,
congratulations on what you do. I'm excited to be on your show, and
I appreciate that. Well, it's a pleasure to have you with us.
I'd rather do another movie, quite honestly.
Oh, I'm talking about movies. You were in the Father of the Bride.
Yes.
Who is a very dear friend of mine, Pedro Damian, which was
I love him.
Yeah, he's a fantastic guy.
He gave me the best gifts. This little journal and these little things. He's very poetic. He's very
yes, he's very spiritual. He has become a very, very close friend, and I love the movie. I think it was a fantastic version of the movie. It was such a good feeling.
You worry because whenever you touch a classic, Andy Garcia and Gaz Alazraqui, who's an amazing director, and they really took a lot of care that it not fall into the the typical generalizations and stereotypes and easy laughs. It was full of heart, and they were very careful with the script.
And thank you so much for all the love and the care, and for taking the time to be with us. Please say hi to the family from me. Say I have this great chat with this. People sometimes feel like my accent. I fake my accent and say no. That's
what accent?
What accent? What are you talking about?
Can I say something to the kids before I go?
Yes.
We need you, kids. You have to take over and do things in a better way. So, we are counting on you, and you got to be strong and organized and keep your tools sharp and keep studying, because the more you can prepare yourself, the more you will be able to speak with anyone, anywhere.
Thank you for that message.
We're all just flying by the seat of our pants. I used to think someone somewhere knows what they're doing. Well, you know what? They don't. No one knows what they're doing. They're trying their best. So we need your best. And I'm excited that all of you are studying, and, I hope that all of you find your dreams and everything you want to do, and do it because you love it, because, what we do entertains everyone, and, it helps a lot in their life, and it's a responsibility and a privilege. So I hope that you all find what gives you passion each day to get up and say, yay, I'm going to do this. And if you got to do something for a while that's not that fun, well, bite the bullet and, just get ready to do better and better by preparing yourself.
Right.
Just, you got to do it. That's the thing, it's not just say, oh, I wish, I dream, or what. You got to do it.
Gloria, thank you so much for being with us. And it's a pleasure. And of course, our followers and listeners, thank you for your time, and all the best and good health, which is the most important part. And we will see you soon, okay?
Absolutely. Good health is the most. Bye, everybody.
Bye.